Hey, what's going on with you? Hey, come on, join me. I got a word. I need to share with you. Something very important, very near and dear to my heart that I think is important that you need to know, right? So come on, join me, kiss me, join me, share this. I want to talk to you about the truth, right? The truth. What I promised is that regardless of the situation, regardless of who, I'm going to keep it real, I'm going to shoot you straight, okay? I'm standing out here on Jones Avenue, where you might not be able to see it, right here by this cedar tree are some flowers at the spot where Mr. George Robinson was sitting in front of his car, or sitting in his car. And it's been a little while ago, but it's come back up because the Attorney General for the state of Mississippi, Lynn Fitch, she is advocating, along with the city of Clinton, she's advocating for the release of the officer that was found guilty by a jury. I want you to understand something. I do not know the officer. I do not know the case. All I know is the criminal justice system goes through a process. And whatever that process is, however they go through that process, and a jury found him guilty. Now I want you to understand something. There's a lot of talk about him being released or it being appealed. But let me explain something to you. George Robinson, Mr. Robinson, his blood is crying out from the ground, right? In other words, he died. He's dead while the Attorney General is coming to the defense of somebody that was found guilty by a jury of his peers. Now, understand something. There are people that have been found guilty and were later found to be not guilty based on appeals processes, all those things. But here's the problem I have. The problem I have is, why would our sitting Attorney General come now from somebody found guilty, prosecuted by the local district attorney, the Hinds County DA, prosecuted the case, and now she is advocating for the release of the officer. My issue, again, I want to be very clear about this. My issue is not with the officer. I don't know the officer. All I know is the jury found him guilty. But I'm advocating for George Robinson. I'm advocating for his family. He was 10 days out of the hospital after having a stroke. He was sitting in his car. There were eyewitnesses that testified to what took place. But the Attorney General, because she does not value the life of black and brown citizens, has made a determination reserved for the Court of Appeals and his attorney that he should be released. Let me tell you, it's a slap in the face for a number of things. It's a slap in the face for those jurors that took up their time and listened to a case and voted their conviction. Slap in the face. It's a slap in the face to the local district attorney, Jody Owens, who's trying to defend families, who's trying to defend and go after crimes that are committed and prosecute people. It's a slap in the face, most of all, to the family of George Robinson and to the memory of George Robinson. And the determination has been made by the Attorney General that the officer should be removed. Let me explain something. I am not against policing. I'm against improper policing. I'm against a 60-plus-year-old man being snatched out of his car, sustaining injury. His death was ruled a homicide by the crime lab. His death was ruled a homicide by the coroner and the state crime lab. So I want you to understand something. First of all, I want you to understand that if you are from here and you're hearing this and you're from the Jackson metro area, you're from Hinds County, you're from this area directly, you need to understand, in particular, if you're in Jackson, you do business in Jackson, you live in Jackson, you work in Jackson, that this is a concerted effort of the politicians to continue to erode the credibility of black and brown citizens and black and brown leadership. You know, I thought long and hard about this before I came, and my spirit wouldn't let me rest. Well, some of you might not know, up and down these streets as a kid, I played, visiting my grandparents for years. And I'm bothered by the fact that the least of these, the George Robinsons of this world, continue to be mistreated. I'm bothered by that. I'm troubled by that. And I got Tasha Smith. I'm doing a live, Tasha. I'm going to call you right back because I heard what happened in your case. That was Tasha Smith, who the judge just threw out her case that she was lying in her bed, going to sleep, when Capitol Police, chasing after someone, shot, and it went through her apartment. The judge throws it out as if the life and the injuries and the medical care and the bullet that is still in our arm doesn't matter. And we're going to get to that later today, but I want y'all to understand something. George Robinson is dead. What I'm saying to you, as a people, this is a further indicator. This is a further example of a people who are being systematically mistreated, and things are as bad now as they were in the 60s. This is what we're dealing with. That this man sitting in his car, and now the Attorney General, who is supposed to be supporting the local district attorneys, is saying release him. Look, I need y'all to share this. If you're not from here, maybe you don't understand why this outcry. Maybe you're saying, Pastor Pickett, it seems like you're always saying something about something because stuff is always happening. And it's always happening, and ain't nobody saying nothing. And ain't nobody crying out about it. And I'm lying in my bed in tears saying, who speaks up for the George Robinsons of the world? I can't sleep knowing that the powers that be have basically nullified the death of a 60-something-year-old man who encountered with the police, according to the coroner, according to those that ruled it a homicide. And now, it's as if it means nothing. I want y'all to see the flowers down here. The flowers that were attributed to him Brown now. And what they count on, Courtney Brookins, what they count on us doing is forgetting about the least thing. They count on us letting it go. They count on us not caring about it. And then on top of that, those of us that say something, they attack us. I'm not all right. I'm not all right. I need the people. I need citizens to understand that we can't continue to sit back and allow these kind of things to happen in our community. We're not saying. This to me is just an example of what House Bill 1020 would be like. They will run through our communities, target us, abuse us, mistreat us, and then there's no justice for us. I'm seeing that. I've watched that with Ms. Tasha Smith. I've watched that with Jalen Lewis. I've watched that with my own son. And then, do you know that the young man that did that to my son has the audacity, after we let it go, to sue me for what he did? That's the kind of stuff we're dealing with. And they are appointing judges, and they want to appoint more judges. They want to appoint judges that will side with them and rule with them. Man, let me tell y'all something. There's something wrong with this system, and we got to fight for what's right. Today, I'm crying out for George Robinson. Tomorrow, it might be your brother, it might be your dad, it might be your uncle, it might be your cousin. The Socrates Garrett's of the world have no business having to be afraid of a police department. Our children have no business having to be afraid of a police department. But that's what's happening. And now the system. And I knew when I went to Lynn Fitch's office after what happened to Jalen Lewis that they were not going to do anything. They got black people appointed up there. They're not going to do anything. You know why? Because they are bought and paid for. They have no power. I approach this every way right with every case. And you know what? They won't hear it because they don't have to. Because they're being led and directed by Tate Reeves and others. And let me tell some of you black folks something. Let me tell some of you black elites something. You keep thinking that this is just going to impact other folks. Let me tell you what happened. In slavery, when those folks that helped catch the slaves, and they did all that helping to catch the slaves, that's what happened. They told them to get on the boat too. I want you to understand something. All you black doctors, lawyers, professionals who are not saying anything because you said it don't affect you, you don't care about your people. That's what I'm telling you. You ain't, all you black preachers that are not saying anything, they're not even willing to take a stand, and these are your people. How many white people go to your church? Doctors. How many of them go to your? How many of them come to your practice? How many of them you're their lead doctor? It's a tragedy, and I'm not standing down anymore. I have nothing to lose. Everybody I thought was for me has turned against me outside of my close-knit community and family, my people, my church, my family, so forth. But people that indirectly I thought really were for the people, I'm finding out they're not. They are only concerned about getting reelected. Somebody told me, Pastor Pickett, if you go do that, you're not gonna win. You're not gonna get elected. Man, keep it. I don't care. I care more about the people than I do about holding an office. We got a sickness, and the sickness don't start out here in the Washington district. The sickness ain't in Vernon district. The sickness is up there in the State House. That's what the sickness is. The sickness is at the governor's mansion. The sickness It's where the Senate building, where the Attorney General's office. It's sick. It's sick. It's sick. It's sick. And I'm sick and tired of it. So, I need y'all to hear me. Jesus told us to stand for the least of these. And if we don't stand, our people are going to keep being abused and keep being mistreated. That's what we are. So I've been contemplating this ever since I heard the announcement. I'm here. I'm planning to meet with Mr. Robinson's family. And what I'm telling y'all is it ain't okay. It's not okay that the sitting Attorney General, gets to do what is being done. And nobody is talking about the blood of George Robinson. She got time to do that, but she don't have time to truly investigate the massacre of Jalen Lewis. They have time to do that, but they don't have time to deal with the harassment of their own Capitol Police officer. Hey, I don't care who it is. This was a JPD case. I don't care. If it's not right, it's not right. It ain't right. And there's all this talk, and nobody's talking about it. I love y'all. God bless y'all. Share this with as many people as you know. Because let me tell you something. I told you, I'm on the front line for you. I'm not going anywhere. Win, lose, or draw, I'm on the front line for you. I'm going to fight for my people. And let me tell you something. Sometimes y'all make it hard to fight for you. Make it hard to fight for you because you don't want to fight for yourself. But there's some roads where you got to walk alone. You know what? That's what I got to do. It's just what I got to do. Right? I love y'all. God bless y'all. It's always my prayer. Peace.